Good morning. This is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Monday, the 16th of December. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Right. Okay, just looking at the almanac, what are the stats for the rest of the year? We've got this week we've got 50%, 56%. These are all odds of closing green. 43, then 46, 56. So basically, we're averaging about 52% for this week. It then goes up next week. 23rd is 50%. 24th is 60%. 26th is 70%. Then it starts tailing off again, but we're basically still averaging about 58%. We've got bullish leaning stats for the rest of the year, and we're 1 week before we get into tape, which is soon, but not quite arrived yet. What does this mean? Well, it means we're on a general bullish lean here, and if we look at the setup here on ES, this could be a flag forming A, B, C, with C coming down 60-90 area, but this is equally be a triangle forming. And it's not a bad looking triangle. And if this is a bullish triangle, then fairly rapidly we're going to go up, make 4, come down 5, maybe back test the weekly pivot at 6135, and then we'll go and retest the all-time high. NQ is powering up and is the heart of this. Well, it's almost entirely the rally that we're seeing at the moment. RTY is a little off the lows, having made new lows after the low on SPX and NDX last week. I've got a possible trend line here. I'm not saying this is particularly significant because really it should come from here. But I am wondering about this resistance trend line here and whether or not this is a flag, and it might well still be. We've got a 60-minute buy signal fixed. On YM, we've got a very nice looking little resistance trend line here, and it's just broken up overnight. No current divergence after a couple of weak buy signals that failed. I've rolled all these into March, by the way, but not DAX and STX as yet because the volume hasn't gone. So waiting to see what happens there. DAX, we've got a nice looking little level top, which is thinking about breaking down. And ESTX, we got a possible flag here. And again, we could see a lower than that. So I'm keeping an open mind this week, but with definitely a bias to the upside, because really we should have a bias to the upside for the rest of December. Could we go a little lower first? Yeah, we could. Not beyond the bounds possibility, we go and test the daily middle band, which is at 6091, and wouldn't make for a bad looking bull flag. Looking at SPX, we've got the daily middle band there at 6008. We've still got the same weak RSI 5 sell signal fixed here. I mean, the last one we had of these actually was this one, and that made target beautifully, but I'm keeping an open mind on it. The sell signals here do tend to deliver, but it would need quite a move that I'm not quite sure we're going to see in December to get this to make target. It might be that this actually just wavers through till January. On the hourly chart, RSI 14 sell signal has made the possible near miss target. 15-minute chart, I've drawn in the possible triangle here, and I'm thinking this may well be a bullish triangle. So we shall see how it goes. All right, looking at Qs. This is moving away, and I'm starting to wonder about this trend line here. We're going through this trend line there, and at the moment, this isn't looking particularly like a bearish overthrow, although we do have a weak RSI 5 sell signal fixed here too. And we've got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed on the hourly chart and on the 15-minute chart. This looks as though it needs some retracement soon, but at the moment we're not seeing any. Dia, we had a sell signal there on the RSI 5. These are the two I'm concerned about because it's Dia and IWM. Both of them are significantly below the daily middle band, and this is potentially open further downside. We don't have that on SPX. If we saw a break below the daily middle band on SPX, I'd be getting genuinely concerned. As it is, they've got a little bit of positive divergence here. 15-minute, we've got an RSI 14 buy signal fixed. And at the moment, it looks like we're going to go through this resistance trend line at the open, and this could well be a very narrow bull flag, although I'm not that happy with the support trend line. We shall see. All right, let's have a look at the IWM chart. IWM on the daily chart, we've got a full RSI 14 sell signal fix, and obviously we've gone through with a lot of confidence the daily middle band. We are at this breakaway gap support from the start of November, and we've not got through that. We didn't get through that here, and actually we back tested the old resistance trend line with a move there, and then we made a higher high. This could be a double top, but really, generally speaking, I'd be looking for higher here, and given where we are in the year, very much so. The principal concern here on equities is that, obviously there's a lot of uncertainty about what's going to happen when the Trump comes in, new administration gets going. Are there going to be tariffs? Are they going to be big tariffs? Is there going to affect inflation? It's bond yields going up because people are thinking tariffs mean higher inflation, and that means higher interest rates. So at least that's one reason they're going up. It's and there is a lot of concern about what all these things will actually mean and how much of them the incoming administration actually meant when they were talking on the campaign trail in a sense. We will have to see. And I think next year is going to be much less, well, I don't think we're going to see the kind of year we saw this year on equities next year. And we might actually just see another, a repeat of, hang on 1 second. Let's have a quick look at the SPX weekly chart. What we could do is see a repeat of what we saw in 2022, when we saw basically a bull flag for more year. And it's not beyond the bounds possibility, particularly if we can tag this trend line here, that we see the same again in 2025. We will see how it goes. So that's where we are. DAX, a little bit of negative divergence, but not really showing much sign of stopping. Gone through the main resistance trend line and then gone through an alternate as well. At the moment, there's not much to say this isn't going to go higher. Nikkei got up to the top of the daily middle band and is pulling back. I'm thinking this may well be about to start a run up, possibly to retest this high here at 42.4K, which is what I would like to see. We will see. All right, DX, we've got a breakup from a bull flag here, and this should result in a retest of this high here in the 107.7 area. On the index chart, that's at 108.1. And I'm leaning towards seeing that next. ZB, it looks like this double bottom has failed. There's no actual fail level as there is on a head and shoulders, and it looks like we might see a little rally here, but I think we're probably coming back into a retest of this low and then probably going lower. I'm thinking in terms of a target of maybe the 105, 106 area on ZB. CL, if we're still trading a range here, then we're pretty much where you would expect it to be turning around, or pretty soon. Below this high here, I think we've already gone above this high here. It's so we will see. Are we still in this long consolidation? Hard to say. But I do still have an open target down at a retest of the triangle low at 63.57. NG, CL and NG both rolled into February, by the way. It's NG dropped a bit on the roll, and we've got another 32 cents of drop to come between now and April. And we are on a seasonal retreat here. Don't know whether that's actually going to deliver, but if it does, we could form a really, really nice right shoulder on a huge inverse shoulders, well, big, on NG. And ideally, that right shoulder low would be in the 1.95 area. If we were to just take off the rolls already priced in between now and April, that would get us down to 270. Not a million miles away. All right, GC. I was looking at this and I found this very nice looking wedge here. Now, dollar, of course, has not finished going up. And frankly, I was talking yesterday on the bigger picture about the possibility we might actually go and see a retest of 115 on the dollar. I'm not saying that's necessarily going to happen, but I'm thinking it's definitely on the table as one of the options. I'm thinking this is probably going lower, and this rising wedge is starting to break down slightly. We've got some positive divergence here. We've got a buy signal on silver, and we're going to see a bit of a rally here. But after that, I'm thinking this may well go down lower. Obvious target on silver would be a retest of this low here, and I've got the main support on silver down about the 26.5 area, I think. On HG, we're seeing a bit of a rally here, but really there's a pretty good case for retesting this low as well on here. So we shall see. All right, looking at KC. KC, two minds about this. I've got a really nice looking daily RSI 14 sell signal brewing. It looks very nice indeed. But we've got crop failures in Brazil. So that's the sell signal is only a potential at this stage. And the crop failures are pretty real. So I'm thinking this is going to have a bid below it, and probably has a lean to go higher. On SB, we're in this very, very long bullish consolidation. Sooner or later, I'm thinking possibly in our lifetimes, then this bullish consolidation will finish, and we will go up and retest this high here in the 23.6 area. On CC, we are going higher, and I'm not seeing anything convincing. We're just failing this sell signal at the moment here, and I'm thinking, I think earlier in the year we reached, I'm going to go back and have a look on the continuous chart, but earlier this year, I think we reached 14,000, 15,000. I think we may well be going for a retest of that. ZW, nice looking double bottom, but may well need another retest of the low first. On corn, this looks like a bull flag setting up a retest of this high. And soy, uncertain action, leaning towards seeing a retest of this low, but we are at some fairly big support on soy, so I'm not really expecting it to go much lower. CT, leaning towards seeing a retest of this low. Lumber is continuing down. We've got a bit of positive divergence here, but not an awful lot to say this is about to turn back up. On live cattle, this live cattle should be retesting this high, and probably my lean goes higher, because really we broke over resistance here. We back tested it. Once we make a new high, that's normally a pretty bullish setup to go higher, so I'm leaning higher on that. Lean hogs, this looks like a bull flag forming, and sooner or later should resolve into a retest of this high. All right, let's have a look at questions, of which we have none. So looking at ES, we've got, this is December, we've got bullish leaning stats this week. If we're going to do any damage to the downside, it's going to be this week, but there's no particular reason to think that we're going to. This at the moment on ES looks like a bullish triangle. Could be a bull flag, in which case we could see another move down into maybe 60-80, 60-90 area, and then up. But either way, we're likely to go back and retest the all-time high, and that's where I think this is headed. We will see what happens after that, but I wouldn't mean, my expectations of seeing any downside over the rest of December are modest, to say the least. Unless we get some big news, major disruption, announcements of future policy, there are a number of news things that could move the market. But in the absence of that, I'm leaning towards it going higher, and I'm thinking we might actually see a decent run potentially if RTY and YM can get off the mat and retest their highs. We could see a nice move. All right, my pleasure as always, guys, and I will catch you guys tomorrow.